Feel like we're falling away. Maybe I just need to feel nothing to make it easier to turn away and leave. Maybe we're fan and flame, so why do I keep holding out my hand to get burned? I don't wanna clash anymore. I can hear the ghosts in the walls. It's telling me to run away, away, yeah. I don't wanna crash anymore. I can hear the ghosts in the walls. It's telling me to run away.
Here in Monza, and it is a race opening victory for Eve. I'm still battling with Kuba.
You said you don't know me well, but I'm your angel in white. I'll be close if you come, I'll be just behind you. You're not on the list, but I can get you inside. Use your mind, listen to my voices and guide you. You give yourself over, yeah, you don't wanna fight. If you do, I'm gonna bid you all.
But he's gone wide! Speedy's going incredible!
Ticket, you're doing alright. And if you don't trust it, hold it up to the light. So quiet, try to hide it. If a new thought formed, we would swallow it down. Empty stares, never question the illusion. If you play alone, they will leave you to drown. Stand up, 'cause we are the movement. Don't stop, straight into the dark. Wake up, 'cause this is the moment, and every fire starts with a spark. A revolution. Stand up, 'cause we are the movement. Don't stop, straight into the dark. Wake up, 'cause this is the moment, and every fire starts with a spark. A revolution.
Feel like we're falling away. Maybe I just need to feel nothing to make it easier to turn away and leave. Maybe we're fan and flame, so why do I keep holding out my hand to get burned? I don't wanna clash anymore. I can hear the ghosts in the walls. It's telling me to run away, away, yeah. I don't wanna crash anymore. I can hear the ghosts in the walls. It's telling me to run away.
here in Monza, and it is a race opening victory for E. And still battling with Kuba.
Said you don't know me well, but I'm your angel in white. I'll be close if you come, I'll be just behind you. You're not on the list, but I can get you inside. Use your mind, listen to my voices and guide you. Give yourself over, yeah, you don't wanna fight. If you do, I'm gonna bid you
But he's gone wide! He's going incredible!
Take it, you're doing alright. And if you don't trust it, hold it up to the light. So quiet, try to hide it. If a new thought formed, we would swallow it down. Empty stares, never question the illusion. If you play alone, they will leave you to drown. Stand up, 'cause we are the movement, and you don't stop. Straight into the dark. Wake up, 'cause this is the moment, and every fire starts with a spark. A revolution. Stand up, 'cause we are the movement. Don't stop. Straight into the dark. Wake up, 'cause this is the moment, and every fire starts with a spark. A revolution.
Feel like we're falling away. Maybe I just need to feel nothing to make it easier to turn away and leave. Maybe we're fan and flame. So why do I keep holding out my hand to get burned? I don't wanna clash anymore. I can hear the ghosts in the walls. It's telling me to run away, yeah. I don't wanna crash anymore. I can hear the ghosts in the walls. It's telling me to run away.
Here in Monza, and it is a race opening victory for E. Hello, and welcome back to FRLT, and it is time for round number 7 of season number 6 of assists. Yes, we are back finally, and I do apologise about the slight delay and the long wait. We have got a lot going on, but let me show you. This week we come to Monza for round number 7, 5.793 kilometers, 3.599 miles, 11 turns. As you can see, of course, not a lot of elevation, not a lot of change. 11 corners throughout the track. It's my favourite. The two Lesmos, absolutely brilliant through the track. as you see, here is the calendar. We've gone through China, Austria, Imola, Great Britain, Australia, and came to the new year for Singapore. And this week we come to Monza. So I've got to say, it's looking very interesting. We are still getting people in the lobby because for some reason this game doesn't seem to want to accept anything or like anything at all. See, now I'm starting to get friend requests. This game is so bad. It's honestly, it is ridiculous how bad this game can be. Honestly, like, bro, it's ridiculous. So I am currently just inviting a couple more drivers in because this game seems to now take like 20 minutes to actually send through an invite, or just for me to get a friend request. It seems to take about 20 minutes. It's like about 10 to 20 minutes at the moment, which I'm so confused why. I'm not sure who else it's meant to be driving now. I'm just taking a bit of a rough guess with who's meant to be driving, because I have no clue who's meant to be driving right now, if I'm being completely honest. Because we've got a lot of drivers who are meant to be driving who just aren't in the lobby. We've got 16 at the moment. We should be having we should have 18. So we are missing some. We're missing Tom. AERT Tom, I think. We are missing Tom. And we're missing Pascal Gilm, I think. Pascal Gil, I mean. But I've just invited him. No, he's in. So we are missing some people. Yo, Ethan, shut up, bro. I'm going to be completely honest. The one time, I'm going to tell you, shut up, bro. I think almost everybody's in. Both of them are in. Let's just check who isn't in. Let me just look. Neither Ferrari is in. We're missing an AERT. We're missing a Red Bull. Okay. Yeah, so that's everybody. So let's get on with it. So yeah, we should be getting going any second now, hopefully. Only 16 tonight, which is a bit disappointing. Yeah, so no, TMS is not here for another race. Not even 6 years. We haven't even been around 6 years, man. Insane. Yes, the man behind the screen is the correct wording for it. Am I going to have to ping these drivers again? I've had to ping them like 3 times just to actually get going. But, well, I've been sidetracked with getting everybody in the lobby. We can look at the standings, finally. EVR lead the championship, but sadly, if you didn't see the news last week, not FRLT, but EVR closed, which means our championship leaders, EVR, will stay on 99 points for the rest of the season. Last week saw a couple of changes. Ace got a great P4 finish, pulled themselves up into 9th in the Constructors. UFRT as well with a solid finish. SKG didn't do too bad, but still find themselves in the middle of nowhere in the Constructors Championship. Very much our defending champions in assists disappearing a bit here. Oh my god, this cough isn't leaving me alone. AERT got the win last week and a big points haul pulls them up into championship contention now, just 22 points behind the championship leaders. AZR double DNF and drops them down to 5th in the championship from 2nd. SET got an alright finish. It was a tough weekend and they also dropped a place down to 3rd. OMB climb up into 3rd place in the constructors with a P2, P3 finish. Absolutely astonishing finish from last week. LR as well, P6, P9, another good enough finish to keep up with the championship leaders who ultimately only scored P8 and P11, so it wasn't too great. But we are finally in to the lobby. Only 16 drivers at the moment. That is because, I'm not sure why, but that is because we are missing a couple of drivers. Was it? Oh my god. Bro, I don't even know. I didn't... Because that's my bad then. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you guys didn't start. But that's even worse for you. I should give you guys a points deduction for that. But, yeah. Essentially, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one tonight. Little bit of rain, we can see, out on track. Little bit of rain, and there goes Sendiox and his teammate, Crovey, both out on their outlaps. They've come out on the intermediate tyres. First time this season, I think, we're seeing a wet qualifying session. I think it is the first time. So, this is going to be interesting to see. And my mic decided to unplug itself, which is just brilliant. Now, we've got quite a few more drivers coming out onto the track. We could see bits of rain, specks of rain here and there, going absolutely everywhere. But intermediates for the first two, I've got to say, these two SCT drivers, very close to each other. They've got to be careful here because, of course, we know of the such thing of slipstream, and they can't do that. And for SCT, they really can't afford, at this point, to get penalties from slipstreaming. They're in championship contention, which is pretty much the closest they've ever been at the moment to the championship leaders, excluding if it's the first race or two of the season. Because last season, if it didn't go to plan, they only scored 150 points. But Crovey is starting his lap, so let's ride on board with Crovey. He's still got DRS, but he's using the intermediate tyres. So with all that speed, heading down towards turn 1, there's a car on the inside. That is an Alpine, but it gets out of the way quite nicely. And through turn 1 and turn 2, very nice from the SCT driver. Bit of loss of grip on the rear there. Out of the first chicane. Heading through the long turn 3 now. As you end off the first sector quite quickly. Before you then hit turn 4 and 5. You've got to get these corners right. And bit of sliding again from Crovey. The rear just all over the place for the SCT driver. Now into turn number 6. And then, yes, I'm going to have to say it. Turn number 7. The second Lesmo. As he heads through the corner. Through the second Lesmo he goes. And not too bad so far as he now heads down the back straight with the DRS once again. And for the final time in his lap as well. Heading now into my favourite part of this track. Through the left, through the right. Holding the grip, holding the throttle down. And making his way down towards the final corner now. You've got to get this final corner right. As now he makes his way into the final corner. Taking the tight line. Taking a bit more of a safer line through there. Not pushing the car too much. Not pushing it to its limit. As now Crovey makes his way down towards the line. And it's going to be a 1 minute 24.919 for the first lap of the evening. And that's not too bad for himself. As TTN Caden goes to a 1 minute 24.714. TTN replace EVR, as you can see, in that Mercedes. They replace him. Jerry Weiss only goes P3. And Tashanez only goes into Well, Shanez, sorry, only goes into P4, while Pascal Gill goes P5, far off of the lap times at the moment, 8/10, splitting the grid right now. As Fleur comes up to the line, he goes fastest of all. As now, Simon Equestre goes into P1, 1 minute 23.862 is the lap time set by himself. And not a bad lap time. Apologies again for having to pause. I'm having to type things to people. Tonight's going to be interesting, though. It is going to be interesting. I have to say, it is looking interesting for the moment. But make his way around LK. LK making his way round to the line. It's P12 and not a fast lap from himself, but I think he's probably going to be going for another run, as we can see. He is going for another lap. We got Ransdal making his way round. Felix, all right. I'll call him Felix, maybe. As Ransdal only goes P13 and even slower on this lap as his teammate. Ozzers? I'm guessing it's Ozzers. Improves on his lap time, but doesn't improve his position from his lap as Jerry Weiss went P6. Not a bad lap from himself. LR looking to get back up into this championship. TTN proving they've got some contention here. As Bananek has joined for AERT, so he's come in just in time with 11 minutes to go in this qualifying session. So at least now I don't have to look at any other screens than I currently do. Sendiox crossed the line. He improved massively and goes to P2. And onto that front row, SCT pushing for the front row. Shanez, LK, crossed the line in P3. Shanez went P4 there. As Felix is now making his way round. And we'll have to wait and see. What does he do for a lap time? How is he going to do? He's P5 at the moment. He is improving. Could we be seeing a front row for AZR once again? They weren't here last week, but maybe they will do well as Ransdal goes P5 now as Felix comes into the pits and feels his time is done, as Ozzers as well is making his way round as he's going to be pulling into the pits. We've got Crovey heading round next. Let's see how he's doing. He's pushing quite well on his lap. You can see very fast from himself using all of the exit he can there. And across the line, it's an improvement and he jumps to P6 on the grid. Still 4 drivers without a lap in this session, as I think we just saw the light come across the line to go into P6 there, jumping Crovey. We have got one driver on a lap, and that is Jatchu. He's on his lap as he makes his way round the first chicane. Now driving for SKG. Let's see what he can do. Jatchu's got a bit of pace behind him. Let's see his first sector. Is it going to be good? Because I don't know whether he's improving, of course, because he hasn't set a lap time yet. So I'm not sure how good this will be, but it didn't look like too bad of a first sector. You can see the rain's getting a little bit heavier now, I'd say. I'd say it's getting a bit heavier. So maybe not as much lap time being found. But OMB are chasing that pole position and another point in their championship. I think they really are chasing the points at the moment and looking for the championship lead out of Monza. And at this rate, based off of last race in Singapore, they will take the championship lead based off of that result. Yes, TTNR Racing. TTNR Racing. Into the final corner goes Jatchu. That Williams having to take all that it can, using all the grip he's got as he makes his way up to the line now. And to cross the line, he goes P6. And that is not a bad lap time for himself. SKG really trying to fight themselves. Really trying to fight their way, should I say. I should really say. Back up into the points positions. As Raza Gamer is coming up to the line. Is he going to do any better? He's not going to do better. He will go P8 though. And the fastest final sector. So I've got to say, very strong for himself. We've got MacT coming up to the line next. I believe his teammate is the only team that's missing a driver at the moment. Looking around, we've got Caden coming up the line again. He set a good first lap time. He now goes P4 and to the second row of the grid. 3/10 found in his lap time, and that's exactly what he would have been hoping to find. Bananek coming up to the line next as he makes his way round the final corner. What can he do when he crosses the line? Is this going to be a strong lap? It doesn't look bad. It doesn't look brilliant either. 25.6, and it is P15 and last. So not the lap time we would have been hoping for. Pascal Gill goes to the front row with his teammate. Will it be a 1-2? And will it be the first 1-2 in qualifying for a team, I believe, this season? Be interesting to see if we see a 1-2. Now, as we watch on, who is coming round for another lap? You can see Bananek is starting another lap. Caden's going slowly. Sendiox has just started his lap. So let's see what can Sendiox do on his lap here. 6 minutes and just about to hit 6 minutes and 20 seconds left of this qualifying session. And he's gone out on the soft tyres. He feels like it is time for the softs. My question is it time for the softs? Because I don't think it is. I think it's still a bit too wet for the soft tyres. But he is improving though. 72 thousandths. Lots of sliding though on the brakes. So maybe it's just not there in some areas of the track. Maybe the rain's still a bit too much. But Sendiox is going to try it anyway. And let's see. It all depends really on this middle sector if he's found time. If he's found more time and he's maybe 2/10 quicker, I think it will be time for the soft tyres as the rain has again gotten a little bit lighter than what we were seeing earlier, as he's actually going up by 87 thousandths of a second at the moment, so he will jump to the front row. He's been in that sort of P2, P3 place on those front two rows for this entire qualifying session, as he now makes his way down towards the final corner. He has got an LR in the way as Felix goes fastest of all, 1 minute 23.66. I'm not going to even say the last number to that. As there goes Sendiox to P2, 1 minute 23.7. He joins in on that front row. Lap time is being found. Ozzers goes to P14. I think we've just seen the light start his lap. LK has just started his lap. As Chavez goes fastest of all. AZR12, 1 minute 23.5 on the dot. And the lap time is being found now as Caden found 0.6 of a second as he goes to a 23.7 with Sendiox. Everything is going on here and now. Team Bananek is also finding time, but he's pulling into pits because I think he knows it's time for the soft tyres as the rain has pretty much entirely stopped. So this is now all up for debate. I think it is very much going to be soft tyres now from all the way from now till the end of qualifying. I think that's very much what the teams will be hoping for. Jerry Weiss needs a lot of time at the moment. His 0.6 will find him go to P6, but he wants even more. He needs even more time because LR cannot have a poor qualifying here in round number 7. They can't have this for the final 5 races of the season. And across the line, Jerry Weiss goes fastest of all by another just over half a second to a 1 minute 22.993. Teams are finding time. They're finding what they need. LK now goes fastest to a 21.957. The light was there for just a millisecond in as fast as to a 22.9 as well. But LK has found the time, and it is LR pushing for pole here tonight. As I think Crovey is also on a run. He's up by 1.5 seconds at the moment out of his middle sector. So he'll be finding himself go right up to P4 already if he can find more time in this final sector. And I think we all know he is going to find more time. And this could be quite easily a front row start for SET here tonight. And it's exactly what they've been looking for. It's exactly what they've been needing for their championship. And Crovey goes fastest of all to a 1 minute 21.555. 555. And that is a brilliant lap from the SET driver to pull up onto that pole position. And I don't believe SET has even gotten a pole position this season. So they've been waiting a while. Now we look around. LK is going slowly. The light is going slowly. I think these are these guys' final runs as well. So I think for them, their qualifying session is pretty much over and done. So this is going to be, I think, an interesting end. 2 minutes left on the clock. Can these drivers get out in time? I don't think LK can. He's crawling around. Unless he's going for another run. I think he's going for another run. I think he feels like he can reach it to go for another run. The next driver to start a lap is going to be Banana Neck, who's going for the next lap. And let's ride on board with Banana Neck on his lap as he makes his way down the pit straight. That can't just be me that's saying that he hasn't got his DRS open. Unless nobody does. No, there is DRS. He's not going on a lap. It's going to be LK who's on a lap and making his way round. He needs this lap here. If he can find the time, we could see LR on pole. This pole is up for grabs for anyone right now. This pole is up for anyone. Honestly, just absolutely anybody can get this pole position. But the AERT driver has maybe some other ideas. Getting in the way quite a bit there for Banana Neck. And now he's up by 1.8 seconds on his lap time. This is very much a pole that anybody could get. It is just a pole that anybody could get now. And now, as we watch the drivers head round, LK's in so much traffic, but he's getting some nice slipstream. And across the line, LK goes fastest with a 1 minute 19.1. The light didn't make it. Jerry Weiss didn't make it. Team Banana Neck didn't make it. And that's 3 drivers who are now done for their qualifying session. Raza is now coming round up to the line. Where is Raza going to go? Raza goes fastest, 1 minute 19.0. But it's all up for grabs. It really is. Caden is... No, it's not Caden next. It's the light who's next, but he's already completed his lap. So we're now looking to Crovey, who's coming up to the line next. Crovey gets to pole position as Macy Jalskis goes to P5. Simon Equestre goes into provisional pole, 18.4. That is one hell of a lap time set. Mac T goes P2. What a lap time. Now Caden goes P2. It is up for grabs. Oz's P6. Jachu! Provisional pole. What is going on, guys? What is going on? Now, Tashanez goes to provisional pole, 17.9. Sendiox crosses the line in P2. Pascal Gill finishes P5. It is just everybody going absolutely everywhere Anybody could take this. Who's left? Who's left? Nobody. And it is going to be to Shanez, or really just Shanez, who goes to pole position. AZR claim a 4th pole of the season. And with that, that is qualifying over and done. And what a qualifying it was, I've got to say. Very interesting qualifying, especially right at the end there. I had no more words to say, but let's look through the order of the grid. It is Shanez on pole, followed by Sendiox, Jatsu, Simon Equestre, Pascal Gill, Caden, Macti, Grovey, Felix, Razagamer, Ozzers, LK, Mateus, I'm just going to say Mateus, The Light, Jerry Weiss, Ransdal, and Team Banananek. That is everyone for that. And now we are here. I do apologise for the poor screen, but there we go. There we go. I have to say, very interesting. Very interesting to see. I think a lot of drivers and a lot of teams are out of position for where they want to be. I think a lot of drivers are out of position. I think it very much just came down to whoever didn't find themselves in a lot of traffic. But I guess we're going to have to see now. We're going to have to wait and see in the next minute or two. Gonna have to wait and see for whether for who's going to do well, because of course we kind of had a wet to dry qualifying, and now we're moving into a race that looks sunny and dry, so it looks very interesting. But the most interesting thing here is probably going to be that start. It's going to be that start, the first chicane, the first of 2 chicanes, turn 1 to turn 5. I suspect we're going to see a lot of contact, maybe a front wing or 2 going flying off of some drivers. We always see the absolute chaos. Hopefully it'll be clean and everybody gets through okay. But for some teams, this is a really big one. For OMB, they've qualified pretty well, P4, P5, I believe. So, they've qualified decently well with each other, because it's still 21 points at the end of the evening. And from where everybody seems to be sitting, that's still the most points out of anybody. And as it stands, I think that would actually place them in the lead of the championship after this race. So OMB at the moment charging from quite far back. 6th, I think, was the lowest. It was where they started this season. Was, I think, 6th in the constructors. So they started quite far back, but now they are pulling themselves back up into title contention. Same as very much the same as SCT. They've pulled themselves as well. They had a tough start to the season. I think they started 7th in the constructors, and they've kind of reeled themselves back. The one team that hasn't, been able to pull themselves back to sort of where they were, sort of performance-wise last season, from sort of last season to this season, is SKG, 7th in the constructors. Yes, they got Jatchu starting, I think, P3. But SKG just looking... They're looking quite vulnerable, I'd say, compared to last season. And I think we are about to get going for the race. So let's get into it. And now, here we are. It is 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away we go here in FRLT Season 6 Assists. Round number 7 at Monza. And it's a good getaway from Shanez, who takes the lead. Down into turn 1 from pole. He holds on to that race lead straight away. There goes Simon Equestre. Down the inside, being incredibly aggressive. Drivers going absolutely everywhere off of the start. Absolutely everywhere. Crovey has dropped down from the order massively. Jerry Weiss has gotten a penalty, as Mateus also gets a massive penalty as well. Everybody getting penalties at the moment. Whoa! And that's an LR drive around. That's LK, who's gotten spun round off for the start. And he's down in last now and far off for the pack. He's going to make all of this back up. He now sits about 5 seconds away from the rest of the grid. It is redeemable, though. He still has another 27 laps to pull back to that group. But now we watch as the grid starts to split away from each other. And it's been a good start from OMB up to P3, P5. So now up to 23 points off of this race start. Another 2 points gained. And that's exactly what they would have been looking for. As another driver goes round. That's Mateus, who's gone round and he's spun it. And I think he's also put it in the wall. Or possibly, has he just spun it? I think he has just spun it. He keeps his front wing. And now we look to the lead. Swerving from side to side as Shanez defends the lead of the race. Heading down towards turn 1, we could see Jachu getting hasty. He looks like he wants a move, but he's going to stick behind Simon Equestre for now. And he's going to hold on to P4. Keep just thinking about the long term. Think about the entire race. And that is really what we like to see here. It's all about strategy. It's how the racing's always been. And there goes Maxi down the inside on Pascal Gill for position. And a very nice move as Ace. That team, honestly, in the last couple of races, pulling in the points. And really hitting new heights that I don't think many people expected. They're already up to 17 points in their championship. And they're looking for even more. They're looking to make it even further in their championship. Only one driver this evening, but that does mean they'll most likely have a qualifying ban going into next week, which is a bit of a problem. As we can see, drivers making their way through each and every section, snaking their way through. As now we look, if we actually look further behind, we've got a move going on here for P14. Crovey's trying to make the move around the outside into the final corner. Can he make the move? He's still on the outside, but he just can't get that grip yet on the medium tyres. And we talk about tyres, let's talk about them indeed. And as you can see, here they are. Everybody is on the medium tyres. Every single driver is on the mediums. I think that's the first time this season we've seen everybody be on one set of tyres. So now we can see a move going on for P8 between Jerry Weiss and Raza Gamer. Jerry Weiss, though, with that massive 10-second time penalty, leaves him, as it stands, all the way down in, I think, about between P16. I think he'll be down in P16, I believe. So at the moment, LR is not having a good evening at all. Just nothing is working LR's way this evening. They wanted to take the lead of the championship, and at the moment they're on for 6 points, but that's going to just crumble down to far less, and will eventually crumble down to none, as now Sendiox takes the lead of the race ahead of Shanez. I think we're going to see this, a lot of ping pong, just going back and forth, overtaking between drivers. Raza Gamer now gets a 3-second time penalty. You've got to be careful about those track limits, of course, here at Monza. You get caught out by them very easily. Felix felt and sensed an opportunity, and he took it right before the final corner, as he now moves up into P9 and eventually will be P8 with penalties. So, of course, LR will be hoping they can, of course, get that penalty removed. But Shanez, you see already, half a lap, and Shanez already retakes the lead of the race. Everybody's running the same strategy here this evening. So this is going to be quite interesting to see how this is going to work and who's going to do what. But again, I think this is all playing into one team's hands, and that's very much OMB. I think OMB, I think it's just playing into their hands completely here, because you look at them and they're P3, P6, you know, 21 points. Still, even with 21 points, that's the most any team is scoring out of tonight. So, you know, you've got to take that and got to go, that's not bad. As now Sendiox retakes the lead of the race, but, you know, you can't lie, that isn't too bad. You know, 21 points, highest point scorer in round 6, then the highest point scorer in round number 7. You know, back-to-back races of being the highest scoring team. You know, it's definitely going to be a booster, I think, to their team, and also the boost of taking the lead of the championship, and only being the second team to do it this season. As Mateus has spun once again on the same corner he did on lap 1. Oh. Very interesting. And now Shanez retakes the lead within half a lap. They're just swapping positions at the moment, but we can see actually some battling further back between Jerry Weiss and Caden for position. As now Jerry Weiss moves off into P7. Let's see Macti getting aggressive again. Whoa! And that's a bit deep. And he does let Jatchu back in front. But of course there might be a report on that, because of course Jatchu did jump over the chicane, but we'll have, of course it will all come down to reports for whether Macti pushed him off or did Jatchu cut the corner. That's going to be the big conversation, I think, going on. Here comes Pascal Gill anyway on Macti. He's trying to make the move, unable to make the move, but that has put a gap. That has put Jatchu 1.5 seconds behind the top 3, so it's now starting to split up into groups a little bit more, as Mateus again has another spin down in P17. It's not looking like a great day for SKG on one side of the garage. It's looking like one of the harshest days. He's 15 seconds behind P16, and he's over 20 seconds behind P15 in the pack, as now Felix makes his move on Caden for position, and now Jatchu getting into a bit of a battle with Macti, as Macti gets back past Pascal Gill for P5. A little bit of swapping going on there. And here comes Macti once again. Macti is loving turn 4 here. Is it going to be a clean move this time? And Macti actually gets the move done before the corner, and that is a nice move. As the first retirement of the evening, Mateus now retires from the race, as Caden's had a spin. And the debuting team this evening falling apart a bit quite early on. Starting to fall apart, but we're seeing it with a couple of other teams. Nobody's coming away from this perfectly at the moment. Every team's having their own battles up and down the track for now. Everybody's having their own battles. That's now Pascal Gill. Pascal Gill! He spun! As Pascal Gill spins and drops down to P14. Caden now retires from the race. The debuting team not having a great evening. Oh, but for Pascal Gill, disappointment for the OMB team. Just absolute disappointment there, as Ozzers now pulls up to P10. He's battling with Team Bananek and Razagamer. He's in that AERT sandwich, which is not too good for himself. It's quite bad to be in the sandwich between a team, because they could just start to play games. But at the moment, you can see Razagamer has got a couple of battles of... Oh, whoa! The lights almost losing it off the exit of the second Lesmo there. Almost losing it there. Not going too well for himself. Very much not what he would have been wanting. But now we've come down to just 2 drivers left. It is just Shanez and Sendiox battling for the lead, while Simon Equestre on his own a bit here. P3, 2 seconds away from the lead, but also almost 3 seconds ahead of P4, you know, and that gap is just growing. So there's a bit of me that questions at the moment, sort of, you know, especially with now his teammate down in P14 and quite far behind the pack. He is catching the pack, but not by a huge amount, especially without DRS. I think it's just a bit of a strange one, if I'm being honest. I think it's going to be a bit of a difficult one for OMB to recover now. Only 13 points walking OMB's way. Unless Jerry Vice's and Razagamer's penalties come through. And that will be P12. But still, even then, 15 points is not what they want to walk away with. Especially with AZR scoring 6 points, scoring 24 points plus the fast lap. 25 points out of this week. And I think would pull up into the championship lead. Based off of this race, they'd pull up into the championship lead. I think, would they? Well, at the moment, OMB I think has 87 points, so they'd reach 100. Yeah, they would take the lead. AZR would just take the lead by a narrow 5 points. So not by a lot, not by a lot at all. Almost halving the points gap between first and second in the championship, down to just 5 points. Macti now makes the move for P4. Very aggressive for Macti this evening. Definitely sort of stamping his foot down, wanting another P4 finish, of course. He wants to get another 11 points to ace this evening. I mean, another 11 points. You know, 22 points in 2 races will be incredibly strong for them. Will pull them ahead. It'll pull them up from 17 points up to 28 points. Pull them right up to the back of UFRT tonight as well. Pull them quite a bit closer. Because at the moment, it's 11 points. Well, it's 11 points for UFRT as well. So, 1 point gained on UFRT, by the way, in the last, in 2 races. Not a lot, but UFRT, though, they're also going up from 34 points at the moment to 45 points. So, I mean, 45 points, that's not bad from UFRT. That's already more points than they scored last season. I think they only scored 30... I think they actually scored just 34 points all of season 5. So it's not been... So it's not gone their way exactly. As Ransdal, quiet driver this evening, but he's made a move on Jerry Weiss for position, and that's up to P6. So UFRT pushing more. As now we see Crovey, Ozzers, and Pascal Gill all in the pit lane here this evening. You also saw LK and the Light, the previous lap, also come into the pits for their change of tyres. So that's an interesting one there. But LK actually finds himself further behind. He's 3 seconds behind the group in front, so he's actually lost a bit of time there. But for LK, I feel like this is just kind of... He's just running to get data for LR. I think he's just... it very much feels like that he's kind of... He knows he's kind of out of contention here to get points. But he's still running this race just so he can maybe collect some more tyre wear data, maybe collect some useful stuff for future races, or for instance to help his teammate Jerry Weiss. But at the moment, between the two of them, after pit stops and stuff, Jerry Weiss will drop down outside of the points anyway. But Sendiox and Simon Equestre and Jatchu and Ransdal and half the grid is coming in now for their pit stops as Shanez continues, Macti continues on his medium tyres, and Banana Neck also continues on his medium tyres. So top 3 staying out longer. Everybody else has stopped now. Oh! Shanez! He's out! He's crashed! Shanez has crashed! What has happened? I'm sorry I'm losing my voice, but safety car is out. That's a free pit stop for Macti and Banana Neck. Which means both these guys could find themselves 1-2 in this race. What happened to Shanez? Oh my god. I don't even know what to say. There's just, I don't see a reasoning for it. He was leading. He was leading. There was no one near him. It must be a wheel problem. It must be something like a wheel problem that he's gotten. As now you can see MacT and of course Banana Neck are going to come in. I don't know how that's happened. I'm just shocked. I've never seen anything like that before. Just never. I've never seen that. Look at this. Who's going to come out in the lead? It is going to be MacT. No, it's Sendiox. But he's gone deep. Sendiox has gone deep. So he's going to have to allow... Sendiox gets a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting. And it looks like what happened to Shanez, he had a puncture. At just 76% tyre wear, he got a puncture. And so, AZR have now one hand time behind their back because they've only got one driver left. Same as TTN, same as SKG. But for AZR, the luck is just, that's just so incredibly unlucky. Even I have to say that is just so incredibly unlucky to get a puncture at 76% is unbelievable. It's quite strange as well. I've noticed this lately. After the last update or two, punctures just seem to be happening a bit earlier on. Before any sort of the last month or two updates, it was always 80% and above would be a puncture, but now it seems to be a bit lower. So that's interesting. But this now means MacT leads the race from Sendiox, who of course has a penalty for corner cutting. But this now falls all back in. I mean, Ace could become another team to win and get 18 points from this evening and pull themselves up to 35 points in the championship, which is just insane. Jerry Weiss, Pascal Gill and LK now all have their chances to still, you know, challenge for points. Pretty much all of them can. I mean, I've got no words for this. You know, this brings LK and Pascal Gill back into it. But can MacT hold on to the lead? That's the big question. Because, of course, he's been very aggressive with the overtaking and he's been very strong. But, if I'm being honest, this was not on my cards for this season. I did not think I would be saying Ace might win. But it's hard tyres for everybody. Just absolutely everyone with the hard tyres. One stop for everyone except Pascal Gill and LK, who both have 2 stops. I have no words for what we're seeing tonight. No words at all. I've never seen this before, as the safety car is in this lap, as Pascal Gill and LK have been able to catch up to the back of the grid. Taking a quick sip of my drink to get ready for this. For the next about 13 laps of action, as MacT can now control the pace of the grid. He can choose when he wants to go. He can choose how quickly he wants to go. Of course, there is a minimum. There is a reasonable speed that he's got to go. When is he going? He's waiting. He's waiting. And he's gone. He's gone for it mid-corner. He's actually gotten an alright getaway. It's not the best getaway, as Sendiox was able to follow him. But now heading down towards turn 1. As Macti moves to the right-hand side, he covers the inside line. He's actually covering the middle of the track, which I've got to say has worked out really well for Macti there. As Jerry Weiss now is making the move to move up some places. He's trying to get past the light for position as they battle over it. And Jerry Weiss does get out in front. That's a position gained already. As you can see, Pascal Gill and LK going wheel to wheel round turn number 3 and down the inside. As you can see, Pascal Gill looked for it. He wasn't able to get it. As now almost getting dragged out onto the gravel there. We could also see Team Bananek. I've got to say, Bananek not doing bad. Up to P5 in this race. He was way out of it. Now he's right in it. And he's got a chance to get some good points. He could be getting P4 here. And AERT could be charging up to gain some places in the Constructors' Championship. At the moment, that would be on. Possibly LR they gain. As you can see, everybody just using everything they've got to pull up some places. But now Macti leads ahead by not a lot, less a quarter of a second at the moment. He leads, but he focuses on that exit, and you can see, look at how much better and how much time he gains from focusing on the exit. 4.5 tenths. He's gained 2 tenths just in one corner. Now heading down the pit straight. The DRS not enabled yet, so Sendiox has got to wait another half a lap before he can even take the lead of the race. As now, here comes Raza Gamer down the inside of Ozzers for position. And he makes that move up into P9. He's still got that penalty though. That 3-second time penalty. Maybe he'll be able to get it removed. But at the moment he would be dead last in 14th and no points for himself. As now Felix makes a move for P6 in this race ahead of Ransdal. UFRT putting in a strong performance this evening. 7 points for Ransdal. And looking like another 5 for Ozzers. So we could be seeing pretty solid 12 points for UFRT tonight, and I think that would actually be their best points finish of the season, which wouldn't be too bad. As Felix now makes his way down towards the next couple of corners. Here comes Simon Equestre, who's looking to make a move. He was very much looking to make a move there. Got very close to the back of Sendiox as Jerry Weiss now gets a 3-second time penalty, and that is going to ruin his points chances. Very much it's going to ruin them. As now there goes Felix. He's trying to make a move on Bananek for position. Does Felix have the ERS? Does he have the pace? He almost does. And in the end, he does have enough to get past Bananek. He feels the pressure now. Felix very much feeling the pressure. He's got to make these moves soon enough. And there goes Felix down the inside of Jatchu. Very late on the brakes. Some would call that a very late move. Jatchu defending well from the surprise attack. And now Fleur battling with Bananek for position once again in a battle that he doesn't want to be in as they make their way down towards turn number 4 and turn 5. As now, as you see there, Felix has to lose position. He has to lose that P5 position and drop down to P6 once again. And that's a position gained and a position lost in the lap. And onto the grass slightly from Bananek there. Not being 100% careful, but I've got to say it's looking quite interesting as we watch on. Everybody just squabbling over positions, but Bananek I think is focusing a little bit now. As Bananek now gets a 3-second time penalty, that's going to drop him down quite far, and that's going to be very disappointing there for himself. And that's really not what he wanted. Both AERTs with 3-second time penalties. It just depends whether he has enough time to the cars like LK, Ozzers, The Light, and Pascal Gill to actually save himself from any penalties or stuff. LK, though, struggling a bit at the moment on the hard tyres. He's 1.5 seconds behind his teammate. He just seems to be dropping back a bit now. As people have still got DRS on him. As Felix now tries to make another move on Bananek. But again, battling and contact. And he's also going to lose the position. It looks like to Ransdal as well. As he drops down to P7, just these aggressive moves not working out for Felix as he thought they would. As Crovey now makes a sneak attack on the AZR driver over the curb. Space has to be given, and Crovey's giving that space through Lesmo 1, side by side. As you can see, Felix just holds on And Crovey has to drop down to P9. And now we watch Razza Gamer. Is he going to be eyeing up his attack now on Felix for position? It looks like he is gaining on the Sauber quite quickly. Here comes Jerry Weiss, though, trying to make a move. He's unable to, and has to stick in P10 for now, as his teammate still sits just getting within a second now. But yeah, I've got to say, Jerry Weiss makes his way past Crovey for P9, but he's still carrying that penalty. So he'll still drop down a couple of places by the end of the race. And now as we watch heading down the pit straight, we see a bit of a move going on further back. Pascal Gill gets past the light, and Ozzers, he's been able to do that in the last lap. So that's a strong one from himself as he makes his way up into P12. As now we watch on, Pascal Gill is now chasing after more points to help his teammate. He knows he can get within that 3 seconds of Jerry Weiss and Razza Gamer to pull himself up into P10 at least. He's just hoping he can get ahead of LK and Crovey to maybe make that P8 by the end of the race. Who knows? It could be anything. We've only got 10 laps remaining of this race. Final 10 laps, and Matt T still leads, by the way, so I've got to say he's doing quite well here. He's not lost the lead once. It just seems like Sendiox has been unable to make the move. And it's actually allowed Simon Equestre to catch back up to these guys, same as everyone else. It seems like Macti is just getting a good enough exit out of the final corner and just has about enough straight line speed to keep up with the drivers behind. And that's the important thing here, very much. As now we see a move happening further back. Crovey trying to stop LK from getting past, but he's unable to there. He has to let the McLaren get past for position. But the best it looks like for LK could be P6 here. So even then, I'm unsure of whether LR are actually going to take the lead of the championship. I think as it stands, it's going to be OMB to take the lead of the championship. Just as it stands right now, OMB will take the lead. Not by much, by only 1 point. They'll only take the lead by 1 point tonight, so it's looking incredibly close at the top of the championship. At the moment, OMB would lead on 100 points. EVR, who aren't racing, would be on 99 points. LR, as it stands, might pull up into... They might move up into... as it stands, it looks like they will stay. They'll move down to third on 98 points. So the top three split by just 2 points. But it also looks like it's going to be moving up to 90 points for AZR. SKG gaining some points. I'm just trying to see who else is in that championship contention. SCT as well could be moving up. Looks like they'll probably move up into at least P9 or P8. So it's going to be sort of 4 or 5 teams within 10 points of each other, which is just insane. It is just really insane to think that, you know, and to sort of see that all of the teams are this close. But I mean, I've still got to say, Ace are starting to come out as sort of a mid-pack team at least. If they had both drivers, I think they'd definitely be on the strong end of the mid-pack. SKG having a bit of a comeback this evening, on for a podium, on for 13 points. And, you know, on for, I think, their 3rd podium of the season, which I think they'll be celebrating. It's only their 3rd, though, and I think, to some degree, SKG, I think, are a bit disappointed. Now, here comes Jack Chu. He looked for the move, but he's not going to make it, as there goes Jerry Weiss and LK on Razza Gamer for position. But I will say, I do think SKG are very disappointed by this campaign so far. 53 points in 6 races. On for another 13, up to 66 points out of round number... up to 66 points out of round number 7, but still drifting far away in the championship from everyone else. I think that's the biggest downside for them, is that they are still drifting far away from everyone else in the championship. I think that's their biggest problem. They are just... they're in kind of a zone where UFRT aren't close enough to really contend with them, but they're not close enough to contend with the top 5, or really the top 6 in the constructors, or really the top 5 teams now that are left, excluding EVR, who of course have left the championship. With the last sort of 5 teams, they're kind of, I guess, lost in this problem that they can't seem to... They're probably not going to catch the championship leaders. Yes, they'll be within, as it stands, they'll be 34 points behind, so it's easily possible as now LK gets past his teammate for position. 2.5 seconds now behind P7. They're starting to lose that grip at the moment. They won't... LK will only get up to P6 with penalties. They won't catch... It will only go up to P7, sorry, with penalties. Because Bananek is getting close to that. It's outside. It's just over that 3-second gap ahead. But I will say that tonight has been more of the race of more of the mid-pack teams. You've got Ace, you've got SKG, AERT, who I know are 5th. I know are 6th in the constructors, but I still count them as mid-pack because their performances are sort of average in that mid-pack. We're seeing UFRT come in tonight, really into their element. Sort of three teams on the grid really coming into their element tonight. But let's see. We're about to go on to lap 23 of 27. Coming down to the final couple of laps. 5 whole laps remaining of this race. Final 5 laps. Sprint to the end now. Who's going to start to put on the pressure on each other? Because Matty is actually starting to pull away slightly. There goes Jerry Weiss, past his teammate. 4th position. Still though, they're sitting on an edge of the 3 seconds. Sitting at about that 3 seconds as here comes Felix on Ransdal. Down the inside. Contact between the two. Whoa! And off onto the gravel they go. And that is the worst thing for both of them. But it's the worst thing for LR, because now they're stuck behind 2 slower cars who don't have DRS anymore. So so they're gonna just be losing time now to the cars in front. You can see, look at that, 1.9 coming up to 2 seconds already, and they are over 3 seconds behind. So it's going to be very interesting to see. And now Crovey makes his way round into P11 ahead of Pascal Gill. Pascal Gill hasn't been able to make up much ground in this race. He's really struggling to make up ground. He's struggled a bit on these hard tyres. He hasn't been able to do what he's wanted to do on these tyres. Which isn't great, of course. It's disappointing, and it's not great for these guys at all. It's definitely not what they would have been wanting here tonight. Especially OMB, that spin, it's ruined their evening. They still will take the lead of the championship by a few points. They'll still take that lead, which is, of course, I think very much the most important thing for OMB, is they're still taking the lead of the championship to some degree. In some sort of way, they are still taking the lead of the championship. Not by much, but it's their first lead. It's the first change of the championship as well this season. Yes, EVR have led for all 6 races. They've led the championship out of all 6 races this season. It's the longest we've actually had a team lead. No team has led for longer, has led from round 1 to the end of the season. EVR won't, of course, but we've never seen a team lead that long from round 1 to round 6. As now we watch the final 3 laps come together. Well, really, the final 2.5 laps. That's all that's left. Who is going to come out on top here? Who is going to do the best? It is anybody right now. It could be Macti, it could be Simon Equestre, it could be Jatchu who wins. 3 drivers in for the chance here, but 5 drivers who could win if we were to exclude the penalties. Let's see. Macti heading down the pit straight to start off lap 26 of 27. He's led now for, since the safety car, he's led all the way. As now we see Ransdal having to battle with Felix for position, but he's actually somehow been able to get DRS there. As here comes Jerry Weiss, tried to make a position, but he's not going to be able to. He's going to spin, and that drops him back down to P10. And all of that ground gained is all going to disappear there. As he now drops down another position, it looks like LK is going to only gain past Sendiox in position. He will only go up to P7 as it stands because he's over 3 seconds behind P5. So it looks like it's not going LK's way. As we now watch to the lead, we've just got to see this lead. Anybody could win it. Who's going to take the position? Are we going to see a massive last lap crash? We've seen it before. We've seen it between teammates. I think last season we saw it between teammates. They took each other out. So let's see. Matti heading down the back straight. All the way down towards the final corner to start off the final lap. Only 11 corners left. Only 11 turns for Matti to complete. But let's see. Is Sendiox close enough? Macti's had a really good exit once again out of that final corner, but he will hold on to that lead down the pit straight as he now reaches the first 2 corners, and he does make it through the chicane safe, and no problems there. It is Red Bull versus RB. Let's see. Heading round turn 3. He's been able to get that gap. He's been able to get the gap, and he's holding on to it for now. As we now see him, he's still leading. He's 8 tenths off in the lead, so I think we might just see that he's safe. For the moment, it looks like he might just be safe in tonight's race, but we're going to have to wait and see. We can see Bananek has made a couple of mistakes in his lap because he's actually starting to drop back into that area of the 3-second mark. He's just dropping into it just a bit, but he needs to push everything he's got as he makes his way round. Now, we look to the lead. Mapti heading round the final corner. And for the first time this season, and for the first time ever, Ace will win in Monza in FRLT season number 6. And it is round number 7 of assists. And what a win for Macti, and what a win for Ace. First win they have ever had, and I've got to give it to him. It is a big win. Simon Equestre finishes in second. Jatchu finishes off the podium and gets the 3rd podium of the season for SKG. And now, I've got to say, been incredibly interesting to see. I don't mean to burst your bubble, Sabuka, but just because they didn't do their quali bans doesn't mean disqualification. That's not what it does, I'm afraid to say. It doesn't mean disqualification from the race. I'll have to double check the rules on it, but from what I remember, there's no disqualification for not doing it. But let's go through the order of the grid. MacT wins from 7th on the grid as Ace take their first win of the season. Simon Equestre finishes 2nd. Jatchu 3rd. Ransdal in 4th. Felix in 5th. Banana Neck in 6th. LK 7th. Pascal Gill in 8th. Crovey in 9th. Sendiox 10th. Raza Gamer in 11th. Jerry Weiss in 12th. Ozzers in 13th. And The Light in 14th. With the retirements being Shanez, Caden, and Mateus. That is everybody. And I've got to say, I'm incredibly impressed with that. Just incredibly impressed with the way that went and the way it was. I think, it's another in like very surprising weekend again. I do believe, as I'm starting to get a cold, I do apologise. Yeah, very interesting. I mean, if we just look at the standings quickly. And my mic decided to turn off. How great. I've just been talking for like 2 minutes while my mic's been off. I'm so stupid. Like, I swear, this mic is killing me, man. This mic is killing me. Honestly, it is. It's actually killing me. I switched it on, and then it switched itself off. Like, what am I meant to do, bro? What am I meant to do? And for some reason, people can't seem to find... For some reason, people can't seem to find waiting for interview. Yeah, again, OMB, please don't get your hopes up. I'll have to double check the rules on that, on whether they... Because I don't from my memory of the rules, they don't get disqualified for that, if I'm being honest. I'm gonna give Macti another minute or two to find it, to find the chat. Otherwise, we might just need to move on tonight and not have any interviews, which I'll be quite sad by. I don't see anything for it. I don't see anything for it. Okay, he's in. Okay, let me put on the faithful miniature headphones that I have. Like, they are actually, like, I think I've got them on the wrong way. I just knew I did. I know I look mental with these on. They're so small. Hello. Welcome to the interviews. How are you doing? He's typing because I can't hear him. All right. We gotta wait a minute. We'll wait. We'll wait a minute. But yeah, really interesting race tonight. Gotta say, very interesting here tonight. I've never quite seen I've never quite seen a race like that. I haven't seen a race like that in a while where it's been quite difficult. But yeah, we'll just wait for Macti for like another minute or two, and if it doesn't work, we might just need to sadly move on. Okay. Well, sadly, there isn't a next. So with that, I think that means this evening is over. So let's see. Is it working now? I think we do have time. We do have time for one. I think he's gotten everything working now. So we will sort that now. Hello, Macti. Welcome to the interview box. Great race and a win. How does it feel? Good to hear. So from that race, it was very close. So I just want to ask you, sort of, that safety car, was that sort of a lifesaver in the end? I think the reason why the leader retired was because he got a puncture, strangely enough. So quite unlucky. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think this race proved for some that there was a lot of difficulty when it came down to maximizing pace, but also keeping the car in its peak area of performance. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think my next question, this is quite an interesting one. So, when you came into this race, did you have any sort of idea or feeling that there was a chance to win? You know, there is always a chance, but did you have sort of any feeling like this is the track where we'll get closest? Mm. One final question. Going into the rest of the season, I think there's trying to think how many races there are left. There's 4 races left to the season. You guys are 9th in the championship after this race. I think you have just caught up to UFRT a bit. Do you guys feel like possibly 8th is there's a chance for 8th? Or do you feel like maybe it's just a bit too far away? I think they should be about almost 50 points after tonight. Yeah. Mm. Well, with that, thank you for joining me for the interviews. You're the only person who has joined me for the interviews. But best of luck. Can't wait to see what you guys bring in the next couple of races. You too. So, with that, that is the interviews over and done. So, with that, that is the end of tonight's race. And we'll move on to the last part where I say goodbye. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, make sure to click on the notification bell to know about all the content we do, from short streams and videos. There is some exciting news coming up very soon, so make sure to keep looking at Twitter. Make sure to look at our Twitter, because there is some exciting news, and there is something coming rather soon. Towards the end of January, we'll be having a new series, something a bit different, but it isn't exactly a race. It isn't a tier. It isn't something like that. But there will be some news on that coming very soon. Also, make sure to go and follow us on Twitter. The link is down below. Also, join our Discord server. The link to that is also below in the description, so make sure to do all of that. But with that, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you very soon. Goodbye.
Feel like we're falling away. Maybe I just need to feel nothing to make it easier to turn away. Leave. Maybe we're fanning the flame. So why do I keep holding out my hand to get burned? I don't wanna clash anymore. I can hear the ghost in the walls. It's telling me to run away, away, yeah. I don't wanna crash anymore. I can hear the ghost in the walls. It's telling me to run away.
in Monza, and it is a race opening victory for Eve. And still battling with Kuba.
You said you don't know me well, but I'm your angel in white. I'll be close if you come. I'll be just behind you. You're not on the list, but I can get you inside. Use your mind, listen to my voices and guide you. You give yourself over, yeah, you don't wanna fight. If you do, I'm gonna bid you a
But he's gone wide! Speedy's going
incredible.
incredible!
Take a chance and win, alright.